Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Hope everyone's doing well. I'm excited to be back to doing coding challenges. And the idea this week is to do a coding challenge where I try to make the classic game threes in what's it called in JavaScript for the web, like we usually do, using TypeScript and our custom game engine that we call Booyah. So it's exciting. I'm trying to learn from last time, because last time I did this, for those who were there, I did Pong. It's only the first time I did it also. And I spent a really long time, a suspiciously large amount of time, actually explaining things. And I think that was not very smart, because when I was explaining things, it means I wasn't coding. And it actually took me a lot longer to explain it. So I definitely did not make it within the hour. I did actually finish afterwards. So, I took the extra time to finish it up. I mean, I didn't finish every little bit, but I finished all the ball and everything bouncing and the paddles and having two paddles, control the keyboard, all that. So I will show you really quickly what that gives. But anyway, just to say that this time I want to change it a little bit. So I'm thinking do things a little bit differently. I'm going to start with maybe a little more explanation on the upfront. Then I'm going to try to work for about a half hour with very little amount of explanation. And then after about a half hour, I'm going to take a break. Maybe give a little explanation of, catch up, pause the thing, and then finish the second bit. And then we can wrap it up. So hopefully, and I hope I can finish the game in an hour. I'm really hoping, wishing for the best. But before I get started too much, I just realized this still says coding CRISPR Crunch. Hold on, let me just change this text here. 1 second. How do I change? No, I'm not the OBS whispered. I should be live coding a game in an hour. Right. Should be able to see this new message. Yeah. Okay. There we go. I think that's good. So before we get started too much, I wanted to introduce the music for this week, done by a really cool guy, friend of mine, Liborn Jupoli, who I haven't seen in a very long time. He looks like this. He looks very serious in this photo, but he's actually a very nice guy. Not that he looks bad, but it's true that he looks a little bit menacing. Like, this is a serious musician here, and he is actually a super good musician. And so his name is Liborn Jupoli. I'll put his link to his SoundCloud here up in the chat for people. Music from. So Liborn is a really nice guy. We worked together back when I was up in Paris, and he was too. He actually did a little internship with me, and he made a bunch of music for our games. He doesn't only do games; he actually does a lot of other, more kind of experimental stuff. He actually makes his own instruments. He does some crazy stuff. He actually makes his own instruments and everything. But he did work together with us on one game, actually a series of games, for this project called Includo, where we're making games about diversity and inclusion. So and one of their games was called Pirate Partage, and that's what this music is from. So he was making all that. He's a cool guy. I remember one thing that really impressed me about him is that he was always coming up with new ideas for music, and sometimes what he would do is he would kind of make kind of random projects, and he would put them up on like he wouldn't give them names at first. So he had an idea for a project, and he'd be like, all right, and he'd just call it in his computer. Like when he went to save the file, he just kind of randomly type like this, like a cat or something, on his keyboard, and it's go blah 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 blah, and then he'd save that, and then so it was blah blah blah. So his computer was full of these files with like totally random names. It was really hilarious. It was like this kind of thing. I'll write it out. So he'd go like blah 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 blah. That would be like his file name. It's like that, like dot, wave, something like that. And when he was done with that, he would go through, and once he actually had something he'd happy with, then he'd give it a name. He'd kind of rename it. I always thought that was really fun. Yeah, so that's good. He's gonna. So that's the music from him, and please do go check him out. He's on Spotify. He's also on. He's on Spotify. He's on SoundCloud. as well as I'm sure other places. Okay, so the game for this week is Threes. So what's cool about Threes is that actually you can just play it online. So it's actually really easy to give an idea of what it looks like. So Threes, you might know, is this puzzle game. It's actually really well known for being it was a real hit on mobile. I think in particular on iOS it did super well. It's also kind of known, unfortunately, for being cloned quite a lot because pretty soon after it came out, a lot of people started making very similar games. They were pretty much this copy or almost with different numbers, and that led to the people making Threes being kind of upset, and losing obviously a lot of money to that. But it's kind of started it was kind of still at the beginning, or like casual games are coming out on mobile and like really hitting it big, and the idea that you could just copy it, which is not really a thing people did much up till then, became a problem. So let's see, how does it work? So in Threes, you have a bunch of numbers, 1, 2, and 3, and just begin, but then you have others later on, and you can move all in one direction. So when you move in one direction, the numbers can combine. So if they can, they move, it sounds like, and if they can't, and if you have a 1 and a 2 together, they'll combine, and otherwise if it's any other numbers together. So for example, if I move now to the left, we're going to have the 1 and the 2. Sorry, I'm pointing at my screen, but of course you can't see it. The 1 and the 2 should combine to make a 3. This 3 and 3 are going to combine to make a 6. These will continue to slide over. This will slide over. This will stay where it is. And I think that's all is going to happen. Let's see if I'm right about that. Yeah, that's right. So basically, things only kind of combine when they reach the end. Right. So in here, the 6 can't. If I move to the left again, well, this 3 and this 3 can move together. This guy's going to move over. The 6 and the 1 can't combine, so this is going to stay here. The 2 and the 1 are going to combine to make a 3. This 3 will slide over. This 1 stays where it is, and the 2 moves over, etc. And you see that once in a while you have things where the so when you slide in from one direction, you also have the a new number that will appear on the left, and I believe that's just random, although I'm not 100% sure. If we keep going, it looks like it's the new numbers are always random. I think they just randomly chosen 1, 2, and 3. Right. All right. So that gives you, and then eventually you can't move anymore. And when you can't move, that's the game over. And then you got some number of points. I'm actually not 100% sure what the points are. Maybe it's the sum of all the tiles you have. It's probably what it is, although I'm not 100% sure. So that's what we want to make, right? And actually what's kind of cool is, well, actually, let's restart it. Oh, you can also do this preview thing. That's kind of cool by holding down shift. That I'm probably not going to have the time to do, although it's kind of cool. Well, it's just visually moving them over. Actually, it's not that hard. Anyway, it's actually kind of cool about this one. You can actually see the way it's programmed because it's on the web, which is one of the things I love about the web. So you can actually see what this is. So here we have basically it all happens here on the board. On the board you have these different rows that are filled with these what they're calling tile containers, which are basically just these guys here, these little kind of images. It's like the slots, or I don't know what you call it, of these different tiles. And then on top of that, on top of all those, here, I'll move this down. On top of all that, we have these tile numbers here. Okay, so these are the actual things that move, and they don't seem to be in particular order. And they have a left and a top, and they have some sort of like movement, and a Z index that makes sure that they're on top of the other people. So I'm thinking I'm actually probably going to do more or less the same kind of architecture. I'm going to do something with the web with a bunch of HTML elements to make to do that. Of course, I'm going to code it using our engine Booyah. That's going to be the trick, and so that part is going to be different. Okay, what else can we do in preparation? So I think that the overall process I'm going to start with, I'm going to do my typical thing of kind of starting with the real basics. I'm going to just make a grid. I'm going to put a bunch of kind of empty slots. It'll probably be pretty ugly, probably the whole time. I unfortunately am not very good at anything graphic design related, so I'm not going to get very far making it look pretty. We'll see at the very end. Maybe we can pick a nice font or something. That's my first step. After that, I'm going to try to get the basic logic of the game to work, and in particular the combinations. I think it's it's the combination issue that is the trickiest in the whole game, right? Is how do you decide when you move, how do you decide what moves and what slides over? I do have an idea for this. So I was going to write it out right now. My idea was basically, I'm going to write it here. Let's say we have, actually, what's the best way to do this? Imagine that these are the tiles here. Okay. I have to find a better program that I know how to use. I was thinking you can actually kind of reason, you can break down the whole thing by thinking about it in terms of, in terms of rows or columns. Like when you're moving, for example, to the left, they're all moving, all the rows are independent, right? So I think what we can do when we move to the left, we're going to consider each row at a time, and then we do the combinations within the rows. Similarly, when you're moving down, each column becomes independent, right? So something on the left column doesn't affect the one in the middle or anything like that. So if we think about just one row at a time, how does that work? So imagine we have like a 1. Let's start easy. We have a blank. I'll go like that. Then we have a 1, a 2, and a 3. Or 1, 2. Let's say a blank here, and a 3 there. Okay. Or let's make it a 2. So what happens when we slide to the left? Okay. So what we want to have, is a function that's going to say, well, it's going to start here, right? You have to start on the left because we have to know basically is the left going to be open or not, right? I should put a little arrow here. This is the arrow that we moved. Okay, we moved to left. So what we want is we're going to start here and we're going to say, well, this thing is blank, so we can take whatever is in the next slot and move it over. So the 1 is going to go here. On this one, it's going to say, well, now this is going to be blank, right, temporarily. So we can take over what's in the next slot. So that is also blank. We move to the next one. Oh, sorry, no. Okay, let me go back. This is where it gets tricky. So we're going to be on the first one. We're going to say, okay, we can accept something. Move them all over 1. So then what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, we move them all over 1. So here, this becomes this becomes this, and this we kind of forget about. Okay, it's just not there anymore because there's nothing to slide over. We'll have to introduce new things, but we'll do that at the very end. Okay, then let's say we move to the left again. Okay. Oops. Up. Move to the left again. We're going to take this again. We're going to say now, okay, what's going to happen now? Well, we're going to start on the left again. We're going to say, well, the 1 can't move. Okay. Is there anything to the left, to the right of it that it can combine with? And here I think we're going to say, no, this is blank, so it can't move. So we're going to leave it here. We move to the next one. We say, okay, we're at a blank. We'll, move everything down 1. Well, there's only one element left, right? So the 2 is going to go here, and this is going to be erased. Then this leaves us with these 3. These 2, I mean. We move left again. And here we're on the left, and we say, we have something to our left. Can we combine it with this one? We say, yes, the 2 and the 1 can combine. They become a 3, and we eliminate this. Okay. So that's sort of going to be the general process, and that's what I want to write. And I think that is probably going to be just a recursive function that's going to create this list at the end, basically by starting with this one. You're going to give it a list, and you're going to say, well, move everything to the left, like shrink it, and it's going to do that. And then maybe it can't, right? And if it can't, it's going to say I can't, and then that'll be the result. Okay. Right. So I think that's kind of like going to be the logic behind it. Is basically going to be that, and then the next step on top of that is going to be making this animate, right? Once we have that logic going, how do we animate it? I think what I'm going to do is when I create the elements, I'm going to keep in my data structure a link to a HTML element that I'm going to do very much like they did. I'm going to lay it on top like they did here. I'm going to lay them on top with the same positions that they have here. I'm going to lay it on. And then I'm going to say, well, as I combine things, keep track of which HTML element it was, so that later I can go back and move it in. I can move it. There's not the only way to do it. Probably, actually, the cleanest way would be to use a virtual DOM library. Something like React is probably the most popular of those kind of libraries, but of course there's a whole bunch. Oh, hey to Raphael at Play Curious. Thank you for chiming in. I hope, is my sound working okay? Can you tell me, Raf? Tebow says good. Thank you. Hi, Tebow. Thanks for tuning in. It's perfect. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, so that's not the only way to do it. You know, probably a lot of you have heard of this thing called well, now, of course, I'm blanking. It's called the Virtual DOM. And the most popular library of this is called React. So React is made by Facebook. And basically, I don't know why it's in French. Let's switch it to English. Well, this is not a really good way to explain it. But the basic idea of a virtual DOM is that you have... you basically write an HTML file each time, or something that looks like an HTML file, but in computer's memory. And you have basically the old version and the new version. You say, well, here's the new version. You only worry about the new version each time. And then it has logic in it to be like, oh, okay, I see that this element moved. You know, so we're going to move it, you know, and keep the same elements there. And then we can add some CSS animations and stuff like that on top of it to make it look pretty. So that would probably be the cleanest way to do it. I didn't really have the time to like look up a good virtual DOM library to work with. Booyah, I know they exist. I just haven't done it. So I'm probably just going to write things by hand. Another approach I could do also with that is basically rather than kind of keep track of each element with its... associate each tile with an HTML element, is that I could kind of give like an ID for each element and say, okay, well, when it comes time to move it, move the IDs associated with it. It kind of comes down to the same thing. I'm not sure which one I'll do. We'll see. So I think that's it for the theory. To go back on that again, that means I'm going to, sorry, that's Pong. I'm going to start with kind of making the backdrop. In HTML, I'm going to put in a bunch of slots in there that are transparent, or I mean they're transparent, that they don't have any functionality, but they're, you know, there to keep the little placeholders. Placeholders is what we'll call them. So I'm going to kind of get that HTML going. Once I get that HTML going, then I'm going to go in and create these nodes and show them, and mostly work on the fact that you can move to the up, left, or right. And I'm not going to animate them at first. I'm just going to move it and redraw the new thing and just check that the logic works. Once that works, then I'll work on the actual animation part, making it so that the things slide nicely. And that, I think, should be fairly easy using CSS animation. Not something I do a lot, CSS animation. It may take me a while to figure out how to remember how to do this. But it is pretty easy. So I'll just look at some examples online and I should be good. Once again, I'm sure that someone could use ChatGPT or ChatGPT 4 and say, write me threes in JavaScript. I'm sure it could do it. But personally, I think that it's really interesting to actually know how to do things. And so I hope it's interesting to you. For me, it's very interesting anyway to try to figure out how it works. And I hope that you learned something as you watch me do it. So are there any questions? If so, please put them in the chat. And in the meantime, I will get a little timer up. I forgot what we used last time for the timer. To do online stopwatch, maybe? Okay. First I get ads. Do we have to get ads? Super full screen? Oh, there we go. Super full screen. I love how they thought of the name Super Full Screen. It's kind of funny. I would like to not have an ad on it. Let's try to find another one. Online stopwatch. But do I have a countdown? Yeah, a timer. There we go. So we're going to set it down for 1 hour. And we'll put a little alarm at the end. Oof, that's mean. Horn. There we go. There we go. That's pretty cool. Okay. So we'll do a horn after 1 hour. And And I will put, oh no, I'll take it. What I'll do is, I think what I did is I moved it last time. Oops, no. Ah, I remember this song. This is really cool. And I'll just put it here so that everyone can see it. Right, okay. I still have an Adobe ad on the screen, whatever. What can you do? You can't win. Maybe one of these days I'll have to program a timer, huh? So I can I don't need to use one that's going to show ads. That's actually a pretty good exercise too. That's pretty easy. All right, I think we're good. Chaotic Barbarian, hello to you. Hello, Chaotic. It's good to have Chaotic Barbarian in the house. Yeah, so I think maybe we'll start. So like I said, I'm going to go quiet now, not talk too much as I work for... there's a plugin for OBS. That's a good idea. All right, well, I'll do that for next time. That's what I'll do. OBS, that would be really nice. Then I won't even have to do this stupid thing of kind of putting things all the time. But you're right, focus time, huh? It's time to focus. All right, let's do this. Time to hit start, and off we go to the races. Oh, by the way, this is Pong from last time. Just to show you, I'm just going to start from Pong. I've literally copied the files. That's my strategy. All right, let's do this. So I'm going to jump right into Pong, and the HTML file. I don't need a canvas. I don't think I even had. Oh yeah, here I had a canvas before, and now I don't need one. I'm just going to keep that. What do we call the game parent? And I'm going to load up my file. So here I'm just going to start by deleting a bunch of stuff I don't need. The point I'll keep. Screen size, I don't think I need. Paddle margin, I really don't need. All this I'll eliminate. Basically, I eliminate pretty much everything. At the very bottom. This was a little bit at the end. This just allows me to use the keyboard. So I get keyboard elements. Let me just check. Oh yeah, game parent. Okay. So I think the game parent, I'm going to give it size so that I can do it my width. I don't know. 100 by... Let's just make it, give it a color. Gray box, that's good. Okay, so that's my middle light. Okay, so that's my background. First things first, let's draw those slots on there. I could do that in the... I could do that directly here, in fact. Yeah, directly in the HTML to start. Because they're not going to move. They're always going to be there. Although... Sorry, I'm just thinking. Size-wise... whether that makes sense. Okay, I can probably do it in the code. So what I do when it starts, I'm going to create a new element. First, I'm going to find the parent. Okay, so I'm going to create a bunch of identical elements and add it in there. One way you can do this is in a loop using insert HTML, but first I'm just going to create the HTML container. Just going to make it tough. Just going to get that guy directly up. Sorry. So we're going to loop or so 4 plus and do the same J. And each one we're going to insert a new element. So here normally we should be able to do is that dot insert adjacent HTML. Is that not how it works? Insert adjacent HTML, which I think should add things at the end. The insert position is insert. I forget how this works, so I'm going to go check the doc. Or insert HTML. It's a string, so it's before end. All together. So I'm just going to create a HTML that is it's going to be a div. Going to have a class. Call it placeholder. It's going to have a position. Style. It's going to say top. Let's say the placeholder size, let's say, what are these called, these tiles? Tile size equals point up. It's a point X. Say, I don't know, D by Y 100 pixels. I don't know. So we'll say tile size dot X times I. Oh no, that's the top, sorry. Left. Okay, so this should insert the tiles. In there. So let's see. Well, we don't see anything, but if we actually inspect, we should see them. No, we don't. So this is not running at all. Why not? Right? Oh, sorry, this is so big. So we're creating. So annoying. Sorry, I have to shrink this down because I can't put it in. It's weird the music cuts, but that's not me. HTML, let's check it out. Div class placeholder. Ah, it's because I think I didn't finish the element. Ah, now I have them. Now you can't see anything. The reason you can't see anything is because we didn't give it any style. Also, I realized I forgot the PX is on here. Again, this is why it probably makes more sense to use a virtual DOM library. In our CSS, we're going to say the tile or placeholder. Say style, background color. Actually, this is probably where we want light gray. And the other one, we'll just keep it white up. Okay, not working. What did I do wrong? Maybe I need to give them a width and a height too. Which I'll do here. Still not. Come on. Ah, I know why. Oh, sorry. I might have screwed up in the... Okay. The problem is that parent has to be in absolute or relative. So that the other ones can be... Okay. That's not what I expected. Okay, why is that? They're huge. And the divs... Oh no, because they're an absolute, sorry. Okay, there we go. That's a little better. There's no space between them. So we should add some space. Let's add 20 pixels. Space between them. So then becomes plus a margin. And we'll do the same here. Top equals j times tile size y plus the margin. Okay, that's a little better. Not perfect, but probably make them a little fatter. Okay, I think that's probably good enough to start. Okay. And that actually took me 13 minutes just to get the background going. Okay, well, next step is then to put things on top, right? Okay, so here, like I said, I think I'm just going to do a... I'm not going to try to animate that, I'm just going to add some tiles. So to that, I'm going to create a double array. So the tiles are just going to be numbers. I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to think today to start, I'm just going to start with a grid that I fix. Although, and later on, I'll make a random grid. Be better, right? So tiles, so I think what I'll do is if it's the valid numbers are 1, 2, 3, and then anything that's 0 or less would be an empty slot. I think is what I do. So empty, empty, empty. 1, empty, first row followed by stuff. This dot tiles. Followed by, let's do a 2 here and a 1 there and 2 and a 2. I don't know, I'm just picking random stuff. Okay, so we have our tiles, and then we're going to draw the tiles. And this I'm going to do, because we're going to do it multiple times, I'm going to make it into a function. Call it here. Okay, the update tiles is going to basically draw them. So what it's going to do is it's going to go over, and anything there's a 0 to 1, it'll draw it, and anything else it leaves a blank. So it's going to be similar to the first array. And I'm probably going to simplify this by saying we'll just start by copying. And we'll say if tiles of this dot tiles of I j is greater than 0, or if it's less than or equal to 0, then we're going to skip this one, so we say continue. Otherwise, we draw the tile. So drawing the tile is, we give it a different class, tile, but we follow the same logic for the position. And we're going to include the number in there somewhere, right? That's kind of the point. All right, we have our first crash. Sweet. Okay. Oh, I think I forgot a whole row of tiles. That's a problem. That's a slight problem if you only have 3 rows. Cool. Okay. I think we have the same CSS problem that we had earlier. I'm going to use light blue for everything to say that it's and color. Oh shoot, I did twice placeholder. I meant tile. Cool. Okay, little issue is that the thing is kind of in the, not in the middle. It'd be nice to center that. Let's see, how there's that text align center. Makes them centered this way to center them vertically. It's always annoying. I think, how do you do that? Off. I hate centering. Maybe we'll just add a little padding. Top 10 pixels, maybe. Oh, that makes them bigger physically. Shoot. You know what? I'm not gonna worry about it right now. Sorry, the text is not centered. Maybe what you should do is actually put like another text inside the div or something like that. I'm sure there's someone who knows how to do that, but I'm not gonna care right now. I'm just maybe just gonna make the font size bigger. Let's say font size. Let's say 100 pixels would be. Oh, not bad actually. I was actually pretty good with 100. Actually, you know what? Hey, if you pick the right size, it kind of looks centered. 90. We'll cheat like that. Okay, there we go. So now we have the grid that's drawn out. Okay, sweet. Okay, next major step is to be able to move them. Okay, so let's react to the keyboard. So here we should be able to do that using basically the same logic as before. Using the keyboard, let's check that that works. The way that works is basically we get a element. We have a keyboard handler already. I hope it works. And if it works, we can say protected on tick. We say if this constant keyboard equals. This is something from Booyah. This dot config. No, not chip. Context dot keyboard as input keyboard. Same from Booyah. We say if keyboard dot keys just down. And here we go to the thing, which I think is arrow left. Well, let's already just do a console log. Go left. Let's just check that this works. I'm a little bit puzzled, not sure if it will work. So unfortunately, it's not working. And I wonder if it's not a thing like I have to give the... I have to make it like selectable or something like that. There's some trick like that. I think it's like you have to give it like a tab index. Let's see, does it work now? Yes, it works. Okay, so that's a trick. I just happened to learn that at some point. Random trick. Give it a tab index. Okay. So now I got to go left. Okay, so now we have the keyboard handler working, right? And what we want to do is, what really is the most interesting part of this whole thing is how you combine things, okay? So I probably, we're going to start by combining just a row, and then we're going to rebuild basically the array, okay, doing that. So what we're going to do is let's do work on just a row. So private, in fact, it doesn't even need to be in the class. It can just be here. Function, I would say move line, combine line or something. Combine line. Okay, I don't know. We'll say combine line. Oh, you know what it means. It's going to take an array of number. It's going to take an array of tiles. I think you can actually say that there's 4 of them, but no. Well, I don't know. There's probably, I think there's a way in TypeScript to say you're going to have 4, but I don't have the time right now to work into it. So we're going to come out with a new line, right? Okay. So the way we're going to do that is that I think we're going to do a recursive function where each time it's going to call its parent. So the first one is going to look for the first element and combine it. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll try to write it out first and then I'll explain it afterwards. It's probably easier. So it's going to try to combine the two things or move them over. So if tiles, the first one is 0, then we're going to move them all over. So that in TypeScript is, I think, shift. Shift, I think, takes out the first one. Let's check it. A equals 1, 2, 3, 4. Say a dot shift. Gives 1 and A is right. But in underscore I think this is easier, so let's use underscore here. I have it installed. You can actually do this also using native functions, but I just, once again, I happen to know underscore, and since I'm in a time race, 5,000. move them over. So we're going to say so here we want to return. Let's go back. This is the trickiest part of the whole program. We're going to have a recursive function that's going to return everything so far. So if the thing is empty, then not going to return anything. We're going to shift everything over. So we're going to say this. Say so back score best, which I think gives everything except the first. It's gonna combine line again. So we can just do this again. So here, shift. Otherwise, and here we're going to think can combine, and we're going to say tiles 0 and tiles. And we need to write this function. A number, B number. That's going to return a Boolean, and it's going to say, well, it can combine if it's 1 and 2, or if they're the same number. So return if A 1, B 1, same thing 2. Okay, if A equals 1 and B equals 2. Actually, that's probably the easier way to do it. Or the opposite. A equals 2 and B equals 1. Return true. Otherwise, return A is equals B. Now, this doesn't take into account that they're blank, but I think that should be taken out already. We can also just check that at the beginning. If A equals 0. B equals 0. Return. So don't handle blanks. Otherwise, if it's 1s and 2s, combine them. Otherwise, they have to be the same number. So if they can combine, then we need a function that combines them. Now, probably you could put those two together into one function, but whatever. Okay. So how do you combine them? Well, you say well, it's just A plus B. That's really simple, actually. That's kind of nice. In fact, it's so simple, I don't think we need a function for it. That's really just addition. Okay, great. That's nice. A little math there for you. So if we can combine them, we're going to say that the return, and we're going to do a new line that is tiles of 0 plus tiles of 1 at the beginning, and then the rest of the line. Combine line of the rest of the tiles. Okay, so in fact I can probably just put this in here. Is this right? Let's just check it over. So I'm saying if it's blank, shift everything over. So return that. Otherwise, return can combine. If they can combine, then return the first number followed by the rest of the elements. Okay. Now, there's a third case. Else, We can't combine. Then we return. We leave tiles as it is. And we return combine line of rest of tiles. Yeah. That looks right to me. So what do we do when we go left? Well, we're going to combine each of the lines. So we're going to say for well, we'll copy this one already. And of course, we have to do this in the other directions. We haven't done that yet, but for that e goes up, then combine line of dot tiles of I. So this is the easy case because it's already organized by row. Normally, if I did it correctly. So I say add new grid, new tiles, stack, new tiles of I equals combine line of the old tiles of I. When we're done, we're gonna combine them over. We're gonna say this dot tiles, those new tiles, and then we're gonna draw them by calling update tiles. Okay. Oop! I see I'm already at my half-hour mark, so I'm gonna take a break. But I did want to get this to work. Let's see if this happens to work. I'd be really happy. Barely works the first time around. And already we have a crash. What's up? Ray of 0. Oh, because I have to only do it when, if the keyboard is down. Oof. That's not pretty. That is not pretty. What's going on? I got lots of undefines. That's not good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little breakpoint here. I'll put it here and I'll put it here. So let's see to debug this guy. But it's okay. This is really the heart of the code right here. So we start again and move left. So I'm in here. I'm going to combine the first line. Okay, so that's good. So let's check. A tile should be 0, 0, 1, 0. So this is interesting. So it's actually not. This was the column, in fact. I must have done it in the wrong order. Let's check that out. What did I do wrong? Because I said the X was the left. Yeah, that's right. So in fact, I did it in terms of X. So in fact, I can flip them over. The top. Oh no. Actually, I do want it to look like this. So I'm going to say is keep it this way and say that the second row should be the top. Oh yeah, so we're going to switch this to the J up. It's because let's see, so this should flip. 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 2, 1. Yeah, okay, so that's what was drawn. Okay, now we go. Okay, so what do we see? Tiles are 0, 0, 1, 0. So that's the first row. That's correct. Okay. So is the first thing 0? It is. Yes. Oh, right. I never did the blanks at the end. Right. So I have to fill them out afterwards. fill line or complete line. I think there's probably a function for this. Let's say well tiles dot length. Oop. This will actually modify the line. Or there's a few from. I can do tiles dot. Yeah, this will modify the line. It's okay. Well, tiles dot it's less than 4. Tiles dot push 0. So basically push blanks at the end. Dot push 0. So basically push blanks at the end. Let's check it out. So I'll take away the breakpoint just to see if it works. Okay, so here, let's check it again. Wait, I wasn't paying attention. Move to left. Ah, it never moved this. Impression it's not moving the. We're gonna make a mistake. Combine them. Wait, is that the? No, I'm not seeing the right tiles actually. Wait, before I get started. No, 0, 0, 1. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna do quick. Move to the left. Shift everything. So combine line, rest of the tiles. So this should call back. Now tiles are 0, 1, 0. Combine line, rest of the tiles. Ah, no, this doesn't work because okay. I'm like shifting it over and I'm never stopping. My recursive function is the problem. So that's the issue. So I want to combine the first line, but then keep I don't want to do it more than once. So in fact, in the case it's blank, it's just the rest. Let's check it. Okay, that worked. Oh, and then I think the other problem is I think I'm not clearing up the tiles effect. When I do update tiles, I have to delete all the tiles that are in there. Because in fact I'm not moving them. Yeah, that's the problem. Because I'm redrawing them each time, I'm not removing the old ones, so I'm just adding more. So here I think part of it is actually working. It's just it's not, you can't see it because they're covered. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of an animation system. Not a lot, but a little bit. So we get the tiles over. So in order to get that to work, we have to, in addition to the tile, we're going to create an interface tile, which is going to have value, which is a number, and HTML element. It's just going to be HTML element. In fact, it's going to be an HTML div element. Okay, then these tiles are not. There's going to be a tile deck, and we're going to use tiles pretty much everywhere. Previously. Oops. This, which is going to create a whole bunch of issues, but we're going to use it. So let's go through and fix all the problems. So the tiles, obviously, we can't just be 0, 0, 0, 0. You have to add a new tile each time. Oh, that's going to be a pain. Add a new tile. I could do that. Or should I just run through and transform them all? Oh, I don't know what's quicker. I'm trying to calculate what's quicker to go through each one and change it, or to... Oh wait, no, that doesn't work, because in the case it says 0, I'm not going to have it. I'm stuck on a stupid thing. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is this. Put them in. Double array. I'm just going to map it. Map. Function that makes this. Value J. And we're going to say if greater than 0. This thing's the HTML container. Oh, God. Sorry, this is kind of annoying. Ah! I'm getting stuck. I'm getting stuck. I know how to do it, but it's like, I don't know the best way to get there. This is frustrating. All right, I'm going to take a little break to collect my thoughts. I'm going to put pause on the timer. I'm definitely not going to make it in time. So annoying. I'll be back. I got to rest my head, give myself a second to think about what I'm doing wrong, and I will come back. See you in a minute. All right, I'm back. Okay, so I've been thinking about it a little bit, and I think that I'm gonna lose a lot of time if I try to handle this correctly with the animations and everything. So I'm probably, given that it's taking me a lot longer. Thank you, Chaotic Barbarian. Given that it's taking me a lot longer than I was hoping, I think I'm going to cut straight to the chase, go back to the original idea of just keeping HTML. Once again, what I should have done is used an HTML library for this. A virtual DOM library would have made a lot more sense. Here I'm going to get stuck with having to keep track of the elements. I'm just going to get back to the basics, at least having the basic work thing that works, and then we can always add that on top once we have it. Again, it's not so much like it's impossible to do. It's just like I'm looking at the different solutions of like, but if it's an HTML element, then I have to keep track of it, then I have to remove it, and the way you create HTML elements with this is just so annoying. That's like it's going to create lots of problems. And once again, it's not impossible, but it's going to take a while. I don't have that time because the whole point is to do this quickly. So we're going to cut straight to the chase. Oh, what happened to my music? I lost my music. That's no good. Is it still playing? It's just extremely long. Oh yeah, it's the arbiter. Okay, let's get back to something a little bit more fun. Here we go. Okay. Cool. All right, let's go back. I'm gonna start. Go back to my code and go back to start the timer again. Not trying to cheat. I doubt I'm going to make it once again. Man, I always get surprised. Things seem so simple in my head, and then when I start programming, it takes forever. So let's just go back. We're dropping the make tile thing, the tile interface. We'll go back to it later if we have the time. But let's just go back to the values, because that's focus on the important thing, not to get distracted with all the other stuff. So I think we had that, and we had that. Good old undo, and let's see here. Yeah, okay. So then the issue is just that we had to delete all the tiles, which is actually pretty easy to do. So when we update them, we first start by deleting all the old ones. I think the easiest way to do this is just to go through. I think we can loop through all the elements in HTML. Or can we actually? Yeah. Okay, so for const element of this dot HTML container dot select query selector all, we're going to get all the dot tiles, right, that we created for element each one, element dot remove, and I think that should delete it. It doesn't like that. How come? It works. I don't know why. Simple iterating of. Oh, no. It works. I don't know why. TypeScript is ignore is annoying me about it. Okay. So let's see. If we go left. Yes, that worked. I think. At least I'm just looking at the top row. The top row is working. Okay. Let's look at the second row there. 2, 1. So this logically should move both to the left. Yes. And now they should combine to make 3. Yes. Ah, this one didn't disappear. Okay. So in the case that they combine, there's an error. Let's look at that one. Okay, so this case worked. And it's this case that we weren't sure about. So if this is one. Oh, right. Okay, so I see this. So the problem is that we are combining. We are combining, in this case, the first 2 elements, like here. Up. We are combining these 2 elements. So we want the remainder to just be shifted. We don't want it to be combined. So we stop the combining here. And I think more than that, we actually... that right? No, it's not that. We want all the other ones. Okay, so I think we can pass to 2 here. Yeah. Okay, and let's check the next row. 2 and 2 should combine to make 4. It does. And 2, 3 should not combine. 2 and 3 should still not combine. Yeah. So that works pretty good. I think the one case we're maybe missing is the case where you have one at the end. You need to move along. So I will try to do that here. So in this case, we have 2 to make 4. We should shift over. Hey, it works! So I actually now have the basics working. So it's ugly, but you know, it's still working. And with 12 minutes left, not so bad, not so bad. So take a little victory lap. I do a little victory music, you know, when this thing works. Come on. All right. Can I get a little love from the chat here? Can I get a little encouragement in the chat, please? A little bit. Good job, you know. Come on, guys. I need a little encouragement here. It's working, or kinda, or it only moves left, but it works. You know, it's not so bad. It's not a great game. We're not gonna say thank you, thank you. That's what I needed. Okay, all right. So now we got it moving left. The big question is, okay, let's go the other directions. That's good. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Character Variant. Thank you, T-Wo. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so now the question becomes, what happens when you need to move in other directions, right? And also we have to add in the tiles at the end. So let's handle that. So let's see. So right now, when we say on tick, we just check if it moves left, and if so, we combine it all and update. What happens if we move right? That's probably the next one to do. Else, okay. If this music is too intense. Okay. Else if we move right. Well, in the case that we move right. No problem. I think we can use the same combined logic. Okay, we just have to reverse them. So, say const tiles equals. So row equals combined line of tiles. Can we just say reverse? Yeah, you can. So reverse it. We complete it. And then we re-reverse it. That actually modifies it to make it. Can I function like reverse? Right. Okay, this reverse. Okay, so this actually reverses the row. Okay, I want to make this really short. That's the row. First we row dot reverse. Then we complete it. Combine it, then we complete it, then we reverse it again. And finally, this dot tile xi equals row. And the new tiles becomes the new tiles. What am I doing wrong? Oh, we reverse, we combine, we complete. Oh yeah, it's new tiles. And then tiles equal new tiles. Anyway. Okay, let's see if that works now. I can still move left. Can I move right? No. Oh, because there's this dot new tiles, yeah. Oh, that's what it was. Sorry. Actually, you were right, TypeScript. I take it back. Can I move to the right? No, it's not working. Not. Okay, I have to put the breakpoint here. Okay, here we go. Tiles. Row is 0, 0, 1. Okay. Row reverse. Rows because 0, 0, 1, 0. We can combine it. Oh, because combine returns it. All right. Okay, so I took away the breakpoint. Okay, this does not work. This is pretty messy, but it seems to work. Nice. Okay, so we can move left and we can move right. Hey, what more do you want? What, you want 4 directions? Oh, what a pain. All right, let's do it. 4 directions. Let's go for it, guys. All right, let's move up now. Huh? Why not a little up? Now, how are we going to do the up? That's going to be annoying. That is going to be annoying. How are we going to do it? Else if up. Well, we have the same basic idea. We're going to make kind of virtual rows, and we're going to make virtual out of the previous ones. 7 minutes left. Oh, man. All right. Okay, new tile. So, yeah, we're going to create a new row by we're going to take a column. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a great way, I think, in JavaScript to select a column. So I'm going to make a little function, get column, and we're going to pass in the tiles of I, column J. Okay, so okay, so basically that's going to be the engine. We're going to get the column. And then we're going to combine line of the column to get a new column. We're not going to reverse it. We don't need to reverse it. And then we're going to set the column. Set column. Column. No. Tiles. J. Column. Oh, into new tiles. Okay, column, tiles, I. Yeah, and then we're gonna. So that's going to be the general idea, but of course we need these functions, get column and set column. So we're going to write them out now. Function get. 5 minutes left. Come on, get column. Let's say tiles, which is a number. Array and a J index number. It's going to return numbers, and we're just going to go through and we're going to say for J okay, so let column array for each I say column dot push of tiles of I J. So go across them, turn column. That I think should work. I think const. Okay, now we need to be able to set the column. So there we set column. It took tiles J column, which is numbers. It's nothing. So what we're going to do here is let I go through, and we're going to say tiles of ij equals column j. No, I. Crap. I think it's I. I might be wrong with that. Blanking. What did I do wrong? Oh, it's index here. And similar to here. think that's right. So up becomes, it doesn't like this. New tiles, it was determined. Oh yeah, because I have to say it's an array number. Cannot find tiles. Oh, it's this dot tile. Complete column. Okay, so up. No, it doesn't work at all, but at all. All right, so what's up? Oh, with 2 minutes left. We go up. Ah, because I said I said up. I didn't say arrow up. Dumb. Wait, let's take away the breakpoint just in case it happens to work. No. Set column, index 0, column. My set column is wrong. Is the column? I think I'm just reversing my indices here on my set column. So we want to get it's row first and then column, right? So we want to set column index. We set the row first. Row is I, and column is index, right? And similarly, of I. Sorry, index. Column. Okay, I think that's right. It's like that. No, still not happy. Tiles. Oh, because the length of this is empty, we can't work. Okay, so I think we have to init a new double array. 11 seconds left. That's going to be hard to do. I think I'm going to be slightly late. Oh, hit 0. Crap. All right. But no panic, no panic. We're just going to finish it up. You know, it's more important that we finish. We'll go with a set column. Made a function that just makes a grid. Tiles. And we'll say, which is a number. Dac. Up. With P's in there. And good old double array. Where are we at? Let's try to copy the double array we already have. Dac. Okay. Say cons tile. Tiles. So an array. Tile java. Tile. Say push. Push. And just do a bunch of zeros. Actually, no. Okay, and we're going to use this make tiles function in here. Tiles, and push it. Let's see if that works. Now, if we go up. Yay! Not so bad. Okay, let's make it. Let's check. On the left, it should just move up. Good. On the next one, these 2 and 2 should just move up 1. Now they should combine. Nice. Hey, I think it's working. And on the right, nice, it's also working there. Sweet. So now the last thing we need to do is the arrow down. Thank you, Karen. So it's a similar thing for the thing for down, but we just need to reverse them. So we get the column, and we say column dot reverse up. We combine, we complete, we re-reverse, and we set. And that should be the down. Let's check. Yes, and it's working. Woo! So what was the total time? It was slightly over. I think I was like 5 minutes late, but I now basically have the game. I like the basics of it. Sweet. All right. Sweet. I'm pretty happy. Okay. So just to finish this up, there's not too much more we have to do. I think we can probably one thing that's important is that we get new tiles that come in on the sides. And maybe that we probably want new tiles on the sides. And we maybe want a random grid to start with, right? Maybe those are two things we can do to start, and then we'll see if we go further than that. Then we can talk about how we do the animation. Okay, so to make, let's see, a random start, I think that would be pretty easy to do. We just need to pick a random number. So we'll just say, let's see. So function, pick, random, and I think the easiest way here, actually, I don't really think we need to. Oh yeah, well, we'll pick a random, and then we'll use the same function first. So make random tile or value, and that is going to be. I think there's a function we can use in underscore that's pretty easy for that, where we just say, it's not pick, it's random. Oh, okay. We'll say the choices are, let's say 0, 0, 1, 2. You'll see that I have kind of like 3 zeros and then 1, 2, 3 in there. Oh no, that's it. Let's check. We'll pick between 1, 2, or 3 randomly. Okay, and we'll say return deck shuffle choices, and we'll pick just the first one. I think it's take, or just take the first one. I forgot. I think it's maybe take or head or something like that. It's head, but whatever, this works. Okay. And how are we going to use make random tile? Well, what we're going to do is we'll pick here, we'll say make grid equals new make tiles. Right, so we'll start totally empty. And then we'll do is we'll go through and pick a certain number of them. Like, so for int let e, I don't know, we'll pick, I don't know, I think 3 or 4. What do they start with in threes? I think it's like start. Oh, there's actually quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's see. Again, 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 originally. So let's say so let e equals 0. E is less than 9. E plus. All right. Actually, you know, we'll do this a little better. Well, okay, let new tiles, our tile count 0. We'll say, well, we don't have 9 of them. Then we will make a new one. And we're going to pick a random number, bit of random row. So pick const I equals shuffle. I think, wait, you can just do random in random. Oh, yeah, G min and max. Yeah, so we'll pick a random index and another random index. And we'll say if this dot tiles of I, j equals 0, then this dot tiles equals our random number thing, which is pick random, right? Make random tile, I think it was. Right? And we'll say the tile count plus plus. So basically, we'd pick random coordinates. If check if something's there. If something's there, we don't touch it. But if there isn't anything there, then we pick a number there. And there we go. So we should end up with 9 random things. Let's see. Or maybe we'll crash. Let's see. Because here it was the max. Okay. Sorry. So between 0 and 3. All right. So every time we refresh, we end up with 9. Cool. Okay, so then we have a random grid. And I think another thing we need to do is make it so something can come in on the side, right? So that's something we can do when we handle these functions here. So when something happens on the left, we want to add one in the right column somewhere. So I think we can do kind of a similar process. We'll use our function now that we have that gets a column. So we'll say const column equals get column of tiles, and the column is the third column. It's the last, or it's the fourth really, but that's right. We need to place a random thing in there. Here we really have our choice. Oh, you know what? Actually, this is way easier than this. Way easier than this. We'll say new tiles of. We know that the I is a random number. We know the last one is 3, and there we're going to say is a random tile, right? So the question is basically what's the right row index here, and here we're going to use that same function random between 0 and 3. So it's like pick a random column, pick a random row, sorry, and in the third column add the tiles. So let's see if that works. Yes. See, I'm always getting 1 in the left. Sweet. Well, okay, that doesn't work. There's a problem at the end. If we weren't able to move it, we have to check that. If it can't combine, then we'd have to kind of detect that and not move the row. I think we still have an issue with that in our thing. But anyway, let's just finish this up. Here, it's a similar case, except if we're moving to the right, well, it's in the first column that we want to add a random tile. If we're moving up, well, it's a random row. No, it's a random. Yeah, it's a random column, and it's going to be the last row. And if we're moving down, it's the same, but it's 0. Let's see if that works. So if we move to the right, we have on the bottom. Yeah! Nice! So there is sort of an issue here, is that we are yeah, it's not so much we can't move, but we have to check if there isn't something there. So if so I think what we'll do is I'm going to create this logic and make it into a little function. Let's say place new tile, if possible. All right. Okay, so what does it take? It takes tiles, which are number array, it's going to take I and j, which are indexes. And it's not going to return anything. And what it's going to say is if tiles of I, j equals 0, then tiles of I, j equals make random tile. Actually, this is very similar to the code. We could make this we could actually have used this in the beginning. Initialization logic. It's basically the same idea. Place new file if possible. That's a very long name for a function, but you get the idea. So let's see here. So here it becomes place new tile if possible. New tiles. Random 3. Let's check if that works. So this should work in the left case. So it places. Ah. Okay, so that's actually a question is, does it have to place one? Or does it only place one if it can? Let's try to see if that's the case here. If we move here to the left, we get one. Ah, no, there we don't. Yeah. Yeah, I think typically, in fact, he only places one if the whole thing slides, if that row slides. If it doesn't slide, it doesn't try to place it. So typically what you'd want to do here, I think, is to check and say, like, well, does this actually slide over? Like, if it does, then, sorry, are we able to slide the row? If we're not able to slide the row, don't try to, don't try to place a new thing in it. And that would probably be the correct solution to make this work. As it is, it's not great because it will place tiles even where it can't really do it. But just to complete it, I'm just going to do like this, and then I think probably you're going to stop there. Let's just check. That works. I'll refresh, so we go. Sweet. Awesome. Okay. So like I said, it's not completely full. If you wanted to complete that, you'd have to do the check and say, well, are we able to move the row or not? If not, don't try to add something, right? So that would be the logic. And to check that, we could do that in a few different ways. Probably the easiest at this point would just be to compare, like, after we've created the new column or like the new row, does combined row, is it the same as the previous one? That would probably be the check. Like, has it checked? You know, has it changed? I mean, that would probably be the way I would do it. The other possibility is to write a function that says, you know, can we move the row? And maybe do that first, you know, that could also work. And then the other thing that would have been nice, and unfortunately we totally ran out of time, would be to do the animation. So the way I would do the animation, I'll just explain it, is that I would keep a row. I would basically associate an element with each one, right? So basically every time we're manipulating tiles, instead of just looking at the value, we'd have a little wrapper where we'd have the value and an HTML element, or possibly, and this is what I was going to do, but it was going to take a while. I could use another chip. So create a chip that handles a tile. And in that tile, we'd say basically move the tile, move the entity. So we'd have these entities. And you know, it would be a little more involved on the programming side. We'd have to have a class for the entity, and it would handle its value, and you would tell it to move. The good thing is that if it moved, it would actually it could handle the animation and all that. Right. So, but I think I'm going to stop there. I hope that it was enjoyable to watch. I have no idea. For me, anyway, it was just fun to. It was fun to do. I was actually thinking about this quite a lot this week. I spent a while. I think earlier in the week, like Monday or Tuesday night, I had trouble sleeping. I got my head all full of like, how are we going to do this? And I ended up coming up with this. Well, what more or less was this combined line function, which to me is kind of the heart of the thing, and that's what got me kind of excited to write it. It's kind of fun that, you know, as a programmer, when you get a chance to do something kind of cool like that, it's like recursive, it's a little bit of logic, it's a little bit, makes your head hurt a little bit when you do it, but it's also quite satisfying when you succeed. So that's fun. Before I say goodbye, let's give another shout out to Liborn Japoli for his awesome music that he gave us, that is used for the stream. Once again, you can find him on SoundCloud, you can find him on Spotify, and he also has a website. Feel free to check it out. It's really good stuff. And what's else to say? Next Tuesday, we're going to stream again. It's going to be Raphael, who has been playing really cool science games every Tuesday. Basically the same time plus a half hour. So for French time, it's 3:30 in the afternoon. So let's see, if you're East Coast US, that would be 9:30, if that's where you're tuning in from. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Hope everyone has a good time, have a good day, and I'd like to hopefully see you next week. All right, take it easy. Goodbye.